Imagine the first day in your new house. You're finally home after years of deployments and bureaucracy. Stacking the last box when 7 police cruisers scream up your driveway. Lights painting everything red and blue like some bad action movie. And the woman who called them. The HOA president. Standing there in her pastel blazer with a smile sharper than a knife. Telling the cops that people like me were invading her perfect little kingdom. My name is Ryan Caldwell. 6 months ago I was wrapping up my last tour as an intelligence analyst. After 15 years chasing ghosts in the system, I wanted quiet. I found it, or thought I did, at 142 Oak Ridge Lane in Willow Creek Estates. Bought cash at a federal auction from a crooked developer who went down for fraud. The price was a steal. The neighborhood looked like every Pinterest board come to life. Manicured lawns. Matching mailboxes. That peaceful suburban hum. What I didn't know was that the hum was actually a cage. And Eleanor Kensington held the only key. She didn't waste time. The moving trucks had barely left when her white Range Rover glided into my driveway like a shark. Eleanor stepped out in a soft pink blazer. Pearls gleaming. Blonde hair sprayed into submission. 4 other board members in matching navy polos fanned out behind her like backup dancers in a corporate musical. She didn't even knock, just marched straight up my driveway in heels that probably cost more than my first car. "Excuse me," she called. Voice dripping with that fake sweet HOA politeness. "We need to address your situation right away." I set down the box I was carrying and wiped my hands. Situation? Eleanor's smile never reached her eyes. "I'm Eleanor Kensington, president of the Willow Creek Estates Homeowners Association. You've made a rather serious mistake purchasing this property without board approval. Every home in this community falls under our covenants. Your unauthorized move-in already violates 3 separate sections." I kept my face neutral. The way years of briefings taught me. The federal paperwork says otherwise. This lot sits outside HOA jurisdiction. Her laugh was light. Practiced. The kind you use at garden parties right before you destroy someone. "Oh honey. Every property here has for 40 years. This is a private community. Your little rebellion ends today." She snapped her fingers. One of the polo guys handed her a crisp folder. 24 hours to submit your application. Pay the $6,500 initiation fee. In the first quarter dues. Or we start enforcement. Her husband, Derek, built like a former frat president who never left the glory days, stepped forward. "We can lien the property. Fine you daily. Even force a sale if we have to. Community standards come first." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead I just said. "Based on what authority?" "Exactly. Based on the fact that we've kept this neighborhood beautiful for decades," Eleanor replied. Chin high. "One troublemaker isn't going to ruin what we've built." That's when old Mr. Harlan Whitaker from next door shuffled over. Leaning on his cane but with eyes like a hawk. 94 years old. Former county surveyor. And apparently done watching the show. "Eleanor. You're making a fool of yourself again," he said calmly. "That house has never been under the HOA. I have the original plats from '84 in my den." Eleanor's face tightened. "Mr. Whitaker. This doesn't concern you. Please return to your property before I have to cite you for interference." The old man chuckled. "Threatening a veteran now? Classy. Son," he turned to me. "Come by later. I've got boxes that might interest you." The way Eleanor's eye twitched told me everything. She spun back to me. 24 hours. Mr. Caldwell. Or things get very unpleasant." They climbed back into their luxury cars in perfect formation and drove off. I thought that was the end of round one. I was wrong. For minutes later the sirens started. 7 cruisers rolled in like it was a hostage situation. Officers spilled out. Hands near weapons. Eleanor stood by her Range Rover looking smug as hell. Arms crossed. While her board members recorded on their phones like it was TikTok gold. The lead deputy's voice boomed over the PA, "Step out slowly with your hands visible." I walked out calm. Palms open. Officers. I'm the legal homeowner. Legally armed. Permit on me. No threats made. Eleanor immediately jumped in. Voice trembling with practiced fear. He became aggressive the moment we tried explaining the rules. He mentioned his gun. I feared for my life. Mr. Whitaker's voice cut through from his yard. Phone recording. That's a damn lie and I've got it all on video. Inside the house. I showed the deputy the federal deed packet. His eyebrows climbed when he hit page 47. Mr. Caldwell. This parcel includes the entire Willow Creek private drive. The road. All 2.8 miles of it. The deputy looked at me. Then back at the paper. You're telling me the HOA has been charging every homeowner maintenance fees for a road they never owned? Apparently for 40 years. When we walked back outside, Eleanor was still ranting about property values. The deputy didn't waste time. Ma'am, this is federal documentation. Your HOA has zero authority here. Also, false police reports are a crime. Eleanor's face went through every shade of outrage. This is ridiculous. He's trespassing on community property. Actually, the deputy said. He owns the community property. You might want to stop talking now. She didn't. That night, after the cops left, Mr. Whitaker invited me over. His study was a time capsule of property records. We found it. The original developer went bankrupt in 1986 before transferring the road. The feds seized everything attached to my parcel, including the asphalt Eleanor and her friends had been milking for decades. $2,800 per household annually in road maintenance. 48 homes. Nearly $5.5 million collected over the years. The road itself looked like it hadn't seen real repair since Obama's first term. Mr. Whitaker grinned like a kid who just found fireworks. She's been running this scam since she took over the board 15 years ago. And she knows. Title search from 2019 is buried in the records. She's known the whole time. The next morning I made 3 calls, my attorney, a security systems company, and the FBI's white-collar division tip line. By afternoon, crews were installing electronic gates and toll readers at both entrances to Willow Creek Private Drive. Nothing dramatic, just clean. Modern arms with cameras and payment scanners. Residents could buy monthly passes. Everyone else paid. Eleanor arrived in record time. Tires screeching. Face already the color of a ripe tomato. What in God's name do you think you're doing? She shrieked at the foreman. Installing access control on private property. Ma'am. Owner's orders. She whipped around and spotted me. The mask slipped completely. You cannot do this. People live here. This is our road. Actually, I said pleasantly. It's my road. According to the deed you've been ignoring for years. And I'd love to discuss the $5.5 million in fees your board collected for a road you never owned. Her husband Derek pulled up. Phone already to his ear. Our lawyer is on the way. This is extortion. No, I replied. This is consequences. You wanted rules? Here's one. You don't get to steal from people and then play neighborhood dictator. That's when the black Suburbans rolled in. Two FBI agents stepped out. Eleanor Kensington? Derek Kensington? We need you to come with us. The neighborhood came out to watch. Phones up. Whispers turning into open outrage as words spread about the road. The money. The lies. Eleanor tried one last power move. Lunging toward the agent with her usual "do you know who I am" energy. The agent simply cuffed her while she sputtered about community standards and how she was protecting property values. The emergency HOA meeting that night was legendary. Residents had to pay the temporary $50 toll just to attend their own meeting. They arrived furious. When the former treasurer, quietly fired by Eleanor weeks earlier, stood up and started projecting years of fake invoices, shell companies, and Cayman transfers, the room lost its mind. Eleanor and Derek were already in custody. But the damage was done. Motion after motion passed, full audit. Leadership suspended. Cooperation with federal investigators. One by one, neighbors realized they'd been terrorized and robbed by the same woman who'd fined them $250 for having the wrong shade of Christmas lights. 3 weeks later the trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. Eleanor got 12 years. Derek took a plea and turned state's witness. Restitution orders started flowing, millions heading back to the people she'd bled dry. I kept the gates, but turned them into a resident pass system. $1 a month the first year, symbolic. But it made the point. The revenue went straight into actual roadwork with public ledgers anyone could check. The neighborhood changed. People started talking to each other instead of filing complaints. Potlucks replaced anonymous violation letters. Mr. Whitaker sat on his porch every evening, smiling like he'd won the lottery. 6 months later I was grilling in the backyard when Eleanor's old house, now foreclosed and bought by the reformed HOA, hosted its first transparency night. Residents could walk in and look at any financial record they wanted. They turned her former formal dining room into a reading lounge for the audit files. Sometimes karma has a sense of humor. So here's the question I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Was I wrong for using the law and my own property rights to shut down years of theft and bullying, or was Eleanor the real villain all along for hiding behind community standards while robbing her own neighbors blind? Drop your verdict below. And if you've ever dealt with an out-of-control HOA, smash that like button. We all know the truth, sometimes the most dangerous Karen isn't the one yelling about your lawn. It's the one who thinks the rules only apply to everyone else. See you in the next one.